Hi guys, it's Shar. Welcome back to my channel, Craftin' Up a Storm. It's my favorite 5 under 5 challenge today. More about this collaboration later in my video, but today I have got some of the easiest and least expensive projects that I've ever done on 5 under 5. So let's get crafting. For this project, I picked up this resin flower at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint it spring pink. So I used a light pink, and I have a darker pink to add a little bit of dimension to my flower. I chose to leave the hook on, though I found out later when I took the hook off that the whole middle part of the flower comes off as well. And it would have kind of been easier to get in the crevice, but I chose to leave the hook on so that I could hold it. And I'm using acrylic paint, so it's gonna take several coats of this pink to cover that gray up. I wanna add a little dimension, a little texture to it, so I'm going to mix in that darker pink, and I'm going to put that more in that crevice where the shadow would be on my flower. I go around and I do that around the large part of the flower and even around that small kind of swirl in the middle of the flower. Now I'm going to take and I'm using water onto my paintbrush, and I'm just going to flick that color out a bit to soften it, but also to spread it over the petal. And it gives me some really good dimension. I don't have just a solid pink color. It gives me a little depth to my flower color. Now I want to take and put some gold around the edges. The original gray flower had some gold around the edges as well, and I really liked that look. So I took my Inca gold out, and with a small paintbrush, I'm going to put that gold back around the edge of the petals. Now I'm deciding which board I want to put my flower on, and I think I like the 3-piece board. And the next thing I want to do is put a little gold around the edge of my board, but because it's the raw edge of this wood or MTF, or I think it's, yes, MTF, I can't do the gold right directly on it. So I put some chalk paint on it first, and then over the chalk paint, I put the gold. I glued some Jenga blocks or tumbling tower blocks to the back. And I love the way this one came out. It came out really cute. It looks cute on the tray as well. Let me know what you guys think. For this next project, I picked up this wooden carrot standing carrot at Dollar Tree, and I have a scorch marker that I'm going to decorate this carrot with. And so basically it's filled with the material that when you heat it up, it will look like you did some wood burning on it. It actually does burn the wood, so but it's an easier way of doing it than using a heat pen on it. So I wanted to try it out, so I did one line, and it worked really well. I did not speed that up. That was in regular time. Here it speeded up a bit, but I went over and I made all my carrot lines and dashes and decorated the bottom of the carrot. And now I'm going to do a squiggle around the leafy part of my carrot and go in the interior just a little bit. I didn't have a rhyme or reason. I just made squiggles here and there. And that's my leafy top part of my carrot. And once all of it was done and cooled, I now want to take and paint the top of my carrot. And so I'm going to use this kind of darker green color. I don't need a lot of it because I'm going to water it down so it's more like a stain. I popped on a piece of painter's tape so that my top of my carrot would stay just on the top. And again, I used quite a bit of water and used this paint more like a stain on this wood so that the wood grain and the wood markings would come out still. I used a dark orange on the bottom. I just moved my tape over so that it would protect the top part of the carrot, and I used orange on the bottom. And that's all I did for this carrot. It was super easy. You know, you could make these lines with a darker paint. Once you stain it, you can go back with a darker paint or maybe even a marker and make those lines. You don't have to have the scorch marker. This wonderful collaboration is brought to YouTube every month on the 5th by our host, Emily at FarmCharmChic. And this month's guest host is Amy, the Singing Craftycrafter. And these two ladies are just talented beyond belief. You have to go check out their channels and click on the playlist for this collaboration, and you will get a ton of wonderful tiered tray ideas. For this project, I found this really cute lantern at Dollar Tree. They had it in this size, which was a $3 size, and they had it slightly bigger in a $5 size. I picked up the $3, and I'm going to take and turn this into a very springy decorative lantern. I started by removing all the hardware. The bottom part, the bottom stand is metal and the top is metal. And I even took the hook off the top. I'll save those, put those all aside and save those. And I want the... I started by filing the rough edges of this lantern away. And I want it to be a little darker. I still like the wood look, but I want just a little darker wood grain. So I'm going to go in with my antique wax. And once I let it sit just a little bit, I'm going to wipe away a lot of that excess with a baby wipe. And kind of clean that up a little bit so that it's good and rubbed in and it looks like a little bit darker stain. Now the top and the bottom portion of this I would very much like to paint, but acrylic paint doesn't stick to metal as well. So I'm going to start with some white chalk paint, and I'm going to paint them completely white. And now that I have them a solid white color, I'm going to go in with some kind of springy green acrylic paint and cover them in this really pretty green color. I think I put about 2 coats of this acrylic paint on over the chalk paint, and that was pretty good. Because this green is very vibrant, I do love it. It's a beautiful green, but it is a little bit bright for me. So once it's dry, I am going to go in with some white wax, and I'm going to paint that on and wipe off the excess just to take some of this color back a little bit and distress it a little bit so it looks kind of weathered and worn and not like a perfect just painted lantern. I'm taking a lot of that wax back with that wipey, and I do that with both the top and the bottom. Now to decorate this lantern, I want to use some of this reindeer moss, and so I'm gonna pull a pretty good little clump out, and I don't show it in this video, but I do cut it up pretty good with scissors so that I've kind of got a particly pile to use to decorate. I put a really good amount of glue up one side, and then I put that moss over the top of it. And I just keep scraping up moss and dumping it back on the glue, and scraping up moss and dumping it back on the glue. Once I had a pretty good moss side to it, I grabbed these hanging floral bush I found at Dollar Tree. I have not seen these before. I thought they were really cute. So I'm going to take some and kind of look like it's hanging down the side of my lantern. I removed the pieces from the connection on the flower, and I even removed some of the little leaves on the back of it so that it laid a little flatter, and then I put flowers right on top of that moss. Now I ended up doing this on another side of the lantern too as well. I don't show it in the video, but you'll see it in the end picture. I put all the hardware back on and put one of those battery operated candles in it. And that's how my lantern turned out. Let me know what you think of that one. Now, for some reason, I have a carrot theme going on with my spring decor this year. But I could not resist when I saw these stuffed carrots as well too. But I just want to kind of zhuzh them up a bit and give them a little bit more character. I pulled the ribbon off, the bow off the top. Now, I cut that twine right here at the top. I suggest if you do go to remake this, don't cut the twine. It kind of cinches the top of the material together. And you could see I could untie the knot pretty easily. I made more of these, and it was just a little easier to do with that twine left intact. But it's not impossible. So I'm going to take all of the topping greenery off. And I just kind of, wherever it had a little bit of glue and was kind of stuck, I just kind of cut it away very easily. And it ended up coming apart. It was just glued to the stuffing mainly on the inside. Now I am still going to use this greenery on the top. I just went and cut them down the length of them so you can see they're thinner strips now. And to me, that looks a little more realistic for our carrot and less of a cartoony kind of carrot. I believe I also trimmed them down a little bit as well too. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit of this greenery in with the felt greenery as well. And I kind of like the look. Now I did kind of roll it up in there on some of the other carrots, but on this particular carrot, I just rolled the felt part back up. And I'm gonna put it in this way. I decided to make sure that the carrot was a good shape first. I needed to kind of get it right down to the point and with the stuffing and kind of reshape the carrot. I rolled the greenery, the felt greenery back up again and put some hot glue on it. And I'm just gonna stick it back to that stuffing inside the carrot. And once that's in there and adhered, I'm going to just gather the material around the top of the carrot. I kind of just pucker it a little bit, rush it up a little bit, and glue it right to the side of that felt greenery. You'll see I kind of just pinch it together. I get some of that stuffing stuffed down in there a little bit, and then pinch that material together and glue it to the side. And I just continue to do that all the way around. I think I did one side and then the opposite side and then the other two sides to make sure it was even. And I just kept gluing and pinching it to the greenery. Once I had it completely glued down, I did take some twine and wrap it around the top. Oh, first I put the greenery, the little floral greenery on it. And I just glued it around the top because I knew I was going to cover that with twine. So I just stuck it in wherever. And it only took, I didn't even use one whole bunch of this greenery from Dollar Tree, and I used it on 4 of these material carrots. You can see I just wrapped twine around it and put a twine bow around the top of it. And these are how my little carrots came out, and I think they are just adorable. Let me know what you think. This one was the easiest project. I picked up this little decor piece from Dollar Tree, and I was gonna paint it. Oh, actually I did paint it white first. That took away all of the darker kind of markings that was on it. And now I'm going to paint it a very pretty soft spring yellow. They had other shapes of these decor pieces, and one very much looks exactly like a flower. This one kind of reminds me a little more of a snowflake. However, I used that one in another video just because these are like some of the easiest tiered tray decorations. They're just paint it the color you want or don't do anything with it and use it. It's really, really easy. For $1.25, I thought they were pretty cute. I just wanted this one to be a little bit more spring-like, and so I chose this beautiful yellow color. I'm going to put a little of this white wax on it. However, it really doesn't show up much. You can't see it too much. I would say you could probably skip this step, but it kind of highlighted some of the decorations on it. But to make some of those stand out now, I used some of my Inca Gold and kind of some of it with just my finger on the raised portions. And then on this one, I used a brush and went into the lines. Now, I did each side different. One side has more gold than the other side. And you'll see here. This side, I just did the center of it. And this side, I did more gold and the white wax. Let me know how you guys think this one turned out. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me on this collaboration. And if you could give this video a great big thumbs up, that really helps my channel. And if you're not subscribed, I would love for you to be part of the Craft and Storm family. Have a great day.